It's a Halloween edition of the Morning Huddle, live from First Financial Bank. Terry Slavens with you, along with Coach Cliff Watkins from the Eastland Mavericks. And, boy, Coach, it seems like just yesterday we were sitting down here for the first time, getting ready for game number 1, heading to Merkel, and here we are, week 10, and it's almost in the books.
It's going fast, going real fast.
The good news is it's been a very pleasant few weeks here as the Mavericks coming into tonight's action 8-0 on the year, 5-0 in district play. And let's talk about the Henrietta Bearcats. They came to town last week, Coach, and Mavericks win that game 33-14, and really not even as close as what the score indicated once you sat back and thought about things.
Right. You know, we came out and we talked all week about a couple things, about taking care of the football. We knew turnovers was going to win somebody the ball game, and just like we talk about every week, being the most physical football team on the field. And because and I think our kids, you know, took it personal because that's all anybody said. Man, you're not going to believe how physical they are. You're not going to believe how physical they are. Well, we want people to start talking about how physical the Eastland Mavericks are, and so the kids really took that personal and took that to the field and got after it, played hard, played physical, and took care of the football and forced 4 turnovers. And that was the difference in the ball game. Like you said, maybe not as close even as the score. You know, Henrietta, you got to give them credit. They came out the second half ready to play. We knew they weren't ever going to give up. Went and got in the end zone and then got the onside kick and scored again and gave them the momentum. But as well as our defense played all night long, a big, you know, drive to start the second half was we were able to get the ball, go back down and score and answer that and spread the lead back out.
Yeah, great job there getting that answer back score. And I think, if I remember correctly, it was a 75-yard drive. I think we started around the 25.
Yes.
And just really took it down the field and put it in. Let's talk about defense a little bit, and we'll talk about offense here in a few minutes. But, you know, you mentioned the turnovers, and the big thing, you know, people say, oh, well, Henrietta had 4 turnovers. The Eastland Maverick defense forced 4 Henrietta turnovers. They weren't dropping the ball out in the open field or anything. I mean, those are guys being in the right spot at the right time on the interceptions and the fumbles. The hits were coming in there, breaking that ball loose.
Right, that's exactly right. Our pass coverage has gotten better every single week, and showed Friday night we had 2 guys that were right place, right time, step in front, and able to make an interception. And one of them ran back for a touchdown. Both fumbles, like you said, both fumbles were cause fumbles. They weren't just dropped on the ground. One of them, the one that we picked up and ran back, you know, was a great job chasing the quarterback from behind, getting there, getting the ball out, and getting the sack, and then the ball's on the ground, and only picks it up and takes it in for the touchdown. So it was forced turnovers.
And so there's 13 points off turnovers right there directly, and then if I remember correctly, the final field goal by Juan after a Henrietta turnover also in the 4th quarter, I think.
It may have.
I had us with 16 points off turnovers last week. And I mentioned Juan Ojeda. Well, before we get to Juan, let's talk about 7 players with double-digit tackles last week. And I'm not talking just 10. I mean, I'm talking guys with 19 for Gus Barker. Grandall Thompson with 16, Tyler Gwynn with 12, Clay Carper with 15, Trevor Bowles with 14, Dylan Miller with 11, Caleb Honey with 15. I mean, a phenomenal job of tackling a very good football team.
Yes, and you know that's part of being a physical team is getting as many people to the ball as we can, and they're taking pride in that. And we're trying to get 11 heads to the ball on every single snap, and we're getting a lot there.
All right, offensively, Caleb Honey, first full game in the backfield, comes up with a 100-yard plus rushing game. Did a great job. I mean, he was all over the field, offensively, defensively, special teams, everything. Hayden Carr, in his second start at the varsity level, I guess the big stat here for me was no interceptions. And he threw the ball. I mean, we put the ball in the air, I think, 28 times or something like that, and no interceptions. So a great job by him, and threw for 234 yards and 2 TDs. How do you feel about Hayden right now?
Hayden's progressing well, and that we talked from the first time he was going to start is he hadn't gotten many reps at the quarterback position before that, and so we knew he was going to improve with the more reps he got, and you know, his first start against Holiday, he went out and played a good ball game. He was better against Henrietta, and we expect, just like everyone else, for him to be better tonight. Because the more reps he gets, the more comfortable he's going to get with what's going on, and he's doing a good job. Knows where the ball needs to go, and the key is just taking care of the football. If we take care of the football, then we'll be okay.
He has plenty of targets to throw out. We mentioned last week how Brant Bailey is evolving more and more and more into this offense. He has 6 catches for 79 yards. Matthew Majors, 5 catches, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns. We were facing a 3rd and long there in the first quarter, and Hayden Carr hooked up with Matt Majors on just a picture-perfect pass. Matthew beat the defender, and Hayden laid it in there, and that one, I think, went 79 yards.
Yes.
That's a huge play right there, because if not, we're going to punt the ball away and give them field position.
Right. That's exactly right. Our first possession, we moved the ball, got a few first downs, and then stalled and had to punt. They got a couple first downs, had to punt, and then that's when we were 3rd and long. And like you said, if we get stopped there, now they have field position, and it's early in the game, still 0-0, and we were able to connect on a big play and kind of set the tone for the game.
And we haven't mentioned it in a few weeks. We mentioned it earlier in the season, but it really proved to be a big thing this past Friday night. Juan Ojeda not only kicking 2 field goals, which was great to get his confidence back. He had missed a couple earlier in the year. He hits the chip shot that was very hard for you to not go for.
Yeah, on the 3-yard line, it was tough decision.
Tough decision. Coach Fambro gave you a little advice on that one.
Yes.
But then the big one, the 35-yarder, that really closed out the scoring and sealed the ball game, and that was a great job by Juan. But also his kickoffs. I mean, whatever you ask him to do, he does it and does it well.
Right, and it's such a weapon to have somebody like Juan. Like you said, not only the comfort level to be able to send him out down in their territory to kick a field goal, but also anytime we line up to kick off, we can pooch kick, we can kick it deep. Wherever we want him to kick it, he does a good job getting it there, whether we want to pin them deep, whether we want to pooch it and see if we can get it, or just not let them have a return. Whatever the case may be, he does a great job executing every time he is on the field.
A couple of times that Henrietta decided to try a return, they really wish they hadn't, because our coverage was great. I think one time he was a yard deep in the end zone when he came out, and I think we got him about the 13 or 14-yard line, and the other time was around the 19-yard line. So they're giving up yards, they're giving up field position by trying to return, and that's a big credit to Caleb Honey and a bunch of those guys on special teams.
Yes, special teams are very important for us. You know, it's people they want to be on them. It's not something that they have to do. It's something they want to be on, because it's a big factor in the ball game. It's field position, it's points here and there, and they take pride in every aspect of the game.
All right, let's take a look at some other scores from around the district. Last week, Cisco traveled to City View. 49-12 game there. I was listening to Coach West as we were coming in. He said that, you know, City View moved the ball on it, but moved it between the 20s primarily, and probably about the indicative of the score that I would have expected out of that ball game.
Right, and, you know, it's just Cisco going taking care of business again and playing a good ball game,
and City View's going to move the football with
right. They're going
to against just about anybody.
Yeah.
So, Holiday 33, Jacksboro 14. That, I think, eliminates Jacksboro from consideration for the playoffs. Holiday, I guess, maybe still has an outside shot.
Holiday plays City View tonight, and I think the winner of that game will be the 4th place seed, I believe.
I think that's right also. Millsap and Nakona, a shootout down there, 27-26. Millsap gets the win, their only district win of the year. Nakona remains winless, and we'll talk more about them in our final segment. That's going to do it for this first segment, live from First Financial Bank. Remind everyone that this video will be up online at eastlandcountytoday.com around 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more from First Financial Bank here on KATX Sports. And welcome back into the Morning Huddle live from First Financial Bank as we wrap up the second to the last game of the regular season. There'll be more football to be played throughout November and hopefully further, but we'll talk about that after we get through the next couple of weeks, Coach. Tonight, Jacksboro is at Cisco. Cisco will have senior night over there. Look for the Lobos to pick up a victory there.
Yeah, it'll be probably over at halftime.
Millsap at Henrietta. Henrietta will bounce back and secure their hope of their 3rd place.
Yeah, that'll be another one. It might be over before halftime.
City View at Holiday could be an interesting ball game. I expect City View will win that football game.
It'll be the closest game in our district this week. I expect City View to win just because Holiday's very well coached and does a lot of good things, but just they're going to have a hard time stopping City View. I think Holiday will probably score some points, but I don't think they can score enough to keep up with City View.
All right, last night we had some teams in action. JV team out here, JV black team, JV whatever you want to call it team, took on Breckenridge and pretty much had their way with the Buckaroos.
Yes, I believe 45-6 was at the final, and you know, like we've talked about all year, the JV, they've got different guys on their team every week, and they do a good job.
They introduce each other.
Yes, hey, I'm playing with you this week, and they do a good job of going out and playing and getting better and doing their job, not worrying about who's next to them. They trust that their teammate next to them is going to do their job, and they've gotten better and had a good year. And so that was JV Black with some of the red mixed in, and they went out and executed and played well.
And then 7th and 8th grade team, they made the trek up to
yes, they did.
What time did they get home last night? Have you heard?
Yeah, I believe it was around 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. We split up there. 7th grade remains undefeated. 8th grade falls 6-0.
Yep. 7th grade, you know, it was tied at half. I think it was 16-6 at half. We were up, and they scored first play of the second half. And so it was a tight ball game. Then we pulled away. I believe they said at one point it was 46-20. And then they had a couple quick scores, and I believe it ended up 46-36. And so, you know, offensively they're doing a good job. Defensively they're getting better every week, and got a lot of kids on that team, and everybody's getting to play and getting better.
All right, Coach. Next week we'll have JV action. Just one JV game next week. 8th grade. Oh yes, I'm sorry. I forgot about the 8th grade.
8th grade. 8th grade. They got beat 6-0, and played really good defense. Their running back was out, didn't play last night, and you know, anytime in junior high you lose a running back, it's going to hurt your team. But they still moved the ball, turned it over one time inside the 20, turned it over on downs 2 more times inside the 20. And so did a lot of good things, just weren't able to finish off a drive and get in the end zone, but they lost 6-0.
All right, now we can turn our attention to sub-varsity and junior high action next week. Little boys, 7th, 8th graders be here. 7th and
8th graders be here. Again, Cisco starting at 5 o'clock. JV Black will travel to Clyde and play Clyde at 5 o'clock in Clyde. And JV Red will be in Cisco starting at 5 o'clock over there.
So lots of action coming up, and for a lot of those guys, their final game of the year, with I guess the junior high boys will go right into basketball right after that pretty quick. So.
That's right.
All right, we're going to take a final break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Nakona Indians right here on KATX Sports. And welcome back into the final segment of the Morning Huddle here live at First Financial Bank. Coach Cliff Watkins is joining us as we talk all things Eastland Mavericks football. But before we talk some more football, let's talk about we have a student athlete up in Lubbock competing in the regional cross-country meet.
That's right. Mitchell Marino running this morning up in Lubbock regionals. Wishing him good luck and know he'll do a great job.
Coach Huxon made the trip up there with him, I assume?
Coach Huxon and him went up yesterday. Mr. Faulkner went out this morning to watch him run.
Originally scheduled to run tomorrow, but because of the Texas game, right. I think hotels became an issue for the weekend.
So they moved it to today.
Probably a good move right there. Hey, Nakona Indians are our opponent tonight, and very young. You and I talked about that earlier. 13 freshmen on the team, only 1 senior on the team. You know, you've brought up a bunch of guys to suit up tonight, I guess, which will represent your playoff roster, more or less?
Probably. We haven't talked about it, but probably.
But, you know, Mavericks probably go up there, take care of business, and handle Nakona fairly easily, and maybe get some guys some playing time, but at the varsity level, which is different from Thursday night.
Right. If we go execute and play well, we should win the ball game. You know, and the one thing we talked about all week long is we talk every single week. We need to focus on our team more than we focus on who we're playing on Friday night. And so that was our focus. Starting last Saturday morning after we beat Henrietta, you know, we worked out and watched film, and then I talked to the guys, and I told them I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you and tell you this is the best team we've seen or anything close. We just got to go get better this week. It's week 10, our 9th ball game of the season. It's not the time of season to play sloppy football and not be focused on what our job is. And so that's what we focused on all week, was just us going out and getting better Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And we did. We had a great week of work this week. And like you said, there's I believe 13 guys we brought up, and hopefully if we go execute and play well and come out and play fast, then we'll get a chance to get a lot of guys in the game and get a little experience for some guys that, hadn't had that opportunity.
It might be able to help us out down the road.
Right.
We talked about special teams. A lot of times you see some of these guys that come up late in the year that end up helping you down the road on the special team.
Right. That's exactly right.
Hey, what about offensively? What can we expect out in the corner? Are they going to spread it out? They're going to run the football?
They're going to spread it out. They'll spread it out and run it through. I guess scheme-wise, similar to kind of what we do. They're going to run some zone read, some counter, and throw it around a little bit. So offensively spread, but see some two-back stuff. They'll mix it up a little bit. Defensively, they're going to base that of 4-3, which is what we saw last week, kind of from Henrietta. What they started in, and then they moved around to some different things. But yes, they're going to base that of 4-3. Like you said, they're a young football team. They're growing up together, in the heat of the fire, and they're a well-coached team, and they're playing hard. It's just it's hard with a young team, and they're doing the best they can.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck to you tonight up there. A couple of reminders. If you're making the trip to Nakona and you have young children, there's going to be a trunk or treat on the varsity side. Come by and find me, and I'll give you a KATX bag, and you go collect your candy in. But the band and I believe some local businesses participating in that, and that will be from 6:20 until 6:50. Of course, kickoff is at 7:30. And let's take a look. David Bailey's not here, so let's pick on him a little bit.
It's always fun.
Celebrity pick contest for this week. Kahoma at Coleman.
Coleman.
All right, you and David agree there. Post at Colorado City.
Coach Famber will be mad if I went with anybody besides Colorado City, so we'll go with the Wolves.
Y'all differ there. West at Comanche.
We have a couple coaches in the office that have a little bet on this game right here. Coach Marwick's from Comanche, and Coach Hatton is a believer in West, so but I'm going to go with Comanche.
I go with Comanche. All right. Bailey went with West. This is good. He's doing really bad this weekend. I go at Goldthwait.
Goldthwait.
All right. he missed that one too. Ira at Hermley.
Who?
Ira at Hermley.
Hermley, just because they have nice facilities.
And they're at home.
Yeah, they're at home.
He missed that one too. Gordon at May. Gordon beat Strawn last week.
That's right.
50.
And I'm 0 for 2 on Strawn.
Yeah.
Let's go with Gordon.
All right, Gordon. He missed that one too. City View at Holiday.
City View.
Oh, he got one. TCU at West Virginia.
Frogs.
All right, the Frogs. Auburn at Ole Miss. We know you're taking Auburn in that one. He missed that one too. Arizona Cardinals at the Dallas Cowboys.
I'll go with Cowboys.
Cowboys at home. He went with the Cowboys. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We kept saying, how long can this winning streak last? Well, we found out 6 games.
Well, maybe it can start back over.
Maybe, yeah. Well, you got to start somewhere.
That's right.
All right, Coach. That's going to do it for this edition of the Morning Huddle live from First Financial Bank. Thanks so much for joining us, and thanks my engineer back in the studio, Blakeney French Hodges. A great job as usual. And thank you for your time this time. Until next time, I'm Terry Slavens. Have a fabulous Halloween, everyone.